Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Wiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in 15 minutes or less to build your business. Today, our guest is Mark Porteous, and Mark is known as the Step Up, Stand Out, and Be Heard mentor for messengers who are inspired to share their unique gifts for transforming the lives of others while creating greater freedom, meaning, and joy for themselves. He co-founded the Inspired Messengers Network as a collaborative community of emerging visionaries, change agents, and thought leaders working together to support others in their life's path. Mark believes we are all spiritual beings who have chosen this life for a reason, and that living in alignment with your purpose is the most exciting and rewarding adventure imaginable. Welcome, Mark. It's a pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you so much, Cindy. I am so grateful to be here.
Thank you. And to begin with, Mark, can you share a personal or business challenge that you had to overcome in order to achieve your level of success?
Sure. How many hours do we have to talk about?
just about 15 minutes now.
If I pick one, it's my biggest challenge, is also my biggest blessing, and that is managing my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a lot about that the wealth is in the relationships, and I'm not just talking about my business relationships, my personal relationships, and how do you manage all of that with all the other things that we're doing? So that's really been the biggest challenge and the biggest growth opportunity.
Right. And was there any particular challenge that stands out that was the hardest for you to overcome?
It was a repeating pattern. It was a seeing that when I was in sales mode, when I was in enrollment mode, when I had something new that I was releasing, then I was reconnecting with people who I thought I could support in that way. And then all the other people who were either my personal relationships or some of my existing clients even would not get the attention that they needed. So I was figuring every time I would focus on one of the types of relationships I was trying to build, the other ones were lacking. And it was a repeated pattern. I could say that the breaking point was when my wife got sick, and she was the one who really manages a lot of my stuff. So when she was not able to do all of the stuff that she does to help me overcome the challenges in managing the relationships, it became very obvious to me. And yeah, things started slipping through the cracks. And so I felt out of integrity. And that was the biggest challenge, was like, that feeling like I had made a commitment and I wasn't there to fulfill it, or that there was somebody there that loved me, needed me, and felt like they couldn't reach out to me because I hadn't been communicating.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that. And I know the Inspired Messengers Network is all about relationships. And so what type of relationships do you think that an entrepreneur needs to build?
There's three different connections that I work with. The first piece you and I talk about all the time, and that's their connection to their inner being.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have that first. The other ones are built on an unstable foundation. So that's the very first piece. And you have a lot of expertise in that area. Then connecting with their purpose and aligning the soul of their purpose with who they are at their core. And then there's the part that we'll really talk about, which is the relationships, the outer relationships. And I see three different types of what I call your divine tribe. For you. And those are your perfect customers, your divine team, that would be your advisors, all of the people who support you. You have a whole team, that it's not just you that makes all this magic happen, although you're the main person in the team. There's all of those pieces, all of the different supports, even the organizations that you're in. And then your ambassadors, your affiliates. I'm one of your ambassadors. I love to spread the word about your work, and you do the same for me. So those are the three types of business relationships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And which one do you find that people tend to have the most difficult time with?
They believe it's always the perfect customer.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, that's really, I believe if everybody could make a wish, they would just say, I wish I had more customers.
Uh-huh. And what is it, what do you find is the biggest block to them even finding their perfect customers?
That they haven't done the step one first.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always an inner game.
Well,
Always goes back to that good old inner game.
Because they're attracting the wrong people. And I think that's the biggest challenge. And also they're also not thinking about their dream team and their ambassadors supporting them. So that if they're attracting the wrong team or the wrong people who represent them, if you and I weren't in alignment, I would draw people to you that were not in alignment with you, and that doesn't work.
Right. And also a lot of people try to be a lone wolf, and that doesn't work either.
No, it's just a success for burnout.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You talk about, let's go to the third one, your team, the team members, your affiliates, people that are really there to support and help you. Because I know that that's such an integral part of, you can be in alignment and still being in alignment with yourself, trying to find those perfect customers. You feel like you're constantly struggling to find them. Whereas whenever you build this team, then it appears that your perfect customers find you. At least that's been my experience. Would you agree?
Absolutely. You summarized my point perfectly.
Yeah. So how do you go about building these type of relationships?
One, by looking at them as human relationships, not with a particular intention or outcome that you're attached to, rather than supporting them. So just like you would with a friend or any other human being, you want to be able to listen to what their needs are. And really listen to who they are. One of the biggest skills that I'm learning and that I would incorporate anybody in practicing is discernment. It's really important that you not invest too much of your time in a place where you're not there to serve. So being clear on who your ideal audience is and who your ideal partners are, again, going back to who you are, if you're putting too much energy, you only have so much of you to give. Make sure that you're giving it to the highest possible people by knowing that you can serve them and that they are in alignment with your values.
And, serving them, a lot of new entrepreneurs, they're like, oh, I really like Mark Porteous, and I'm going to ask him if he can help me, or I'm going to ask him to do this or that. And so they just email you and say, do this or do that. So how can anybody even, I know I get tons of these emails a day from people I don't know. I'm sure you do too. So what's the best way to even communicate with the leaders and try to build the relationships? What do you find is the first, second, third step?
Well, I love the expression that joint venture partnerships are a game of I'll go first. And so when you practice the I'll go first methodology, is that you support the person that you're looking for help from. It's very difficult when you reach out to somebody who you don't already have a relationship and ask for anything. It feels uncomfortable for me to do it. And so when it happens to me, I feel uncomfortable for that person. And it just happened to me very, very recently. And so it's something that's very real. And I wanted to help this person to see what they just did, and understanding, like, build a relationship first. Don't say, hey, this is a really great date. You want to go back to my place?
Right.
And so you would build a relationship the same way. Find out what is in common, how we can support each other, instead of saying, what can you do for me, but what can I do for you? And not asking the person, but knowing in your heart, well, here are the things I can do for you. One is, I've got an audience I can share your work with. I can invest in your program. I can be a part of your community. I can subscribe to you. I can opt into your gift. Little things like that.
Exactly. And that goes along a lot with what I share with my clients, is basically, if you just go up to these people that you want to collaborate with and automatically say, I'm going to help you build your list. Well, these people might have, a 50,000 list. And if you have 1,000 list, it's sort of unbalanced. But there's so many things that you can do to get noticed by these people to where they will collaborate with you. And so I love some of your suggestions, like signing up for their programs, joining their community, signing up for their free gifts. And it's really important.
Sharing their comments on Facebook will get you noticed.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, or Twitter, or any of them. Whenever you share their stuff, it definitely gets you noticed. And also, a lot of entrepreneurs, I believe, make the big mistake of only going after the top people. So what are the benefits of going after people that aren't in the spotlight yet to partner with?
That's a great question. For one, there's just the vibrational match. If you go in there feeling like you're not a vibrational match, it won't quite be one. And when you don't have the momentum or whatever else, there will be a lot of lifting as they climb. There are people there that are willing to help you. But when you're in someone of a closer match, where you're in kind of the same place in business, it feels a lot more collaborative. It feels a lot more equal give and take. So you're both willing to put more into it. And so it has this kind of natural energy, just like we get when we help somebody else out who we feel deeply resonant with, even though we know that they're not going to necessarily drive a lot of traffic or anything else. We just want to work with them.
Right. And that's what it is. It's all comes about helping and supporting and just making yourself known in a quiet, subtle way, like sharing their posts on Facebook or telling them the value that you got out of something that they taught.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you go back to having a partner where it's someone that is more in the same experience level, on the same level in their journey, that you can also do things like, if you have a complimentary gift or one of your even trainings. I have a lot of my partners who give away core pieces of their training to include in my training, just because it complements it well. And I know that other partners do kind of the same idea.
Exactly. And that's all about, getting visible, getting known, but it's getting around the other, collaborating with people that cater to the same perfect customers as you do.
Absolutely. And that's another, being around those people. So you have to get around those people and be in events, be places where the people that you want to be with are.
Exactly. Mark, can you share a strategy that our listeners can implement in 15 minutes or less to grow their business?
Absolutely. When we started off at the beginning of the call, we were talking about all the different challenges.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these different management stuff, managing money, managing time. And for me, the most important asset in your business is the people, whether
Mm-hmm.
that's your clients, your prospective clients, the people that are in your funnel, however you might look at these different groups. And so being able to manage them quickly and efficiently. Every Monday, I spend 15 minutes looking at my spreadsheet. So start off with a simple spreadsheet and list the different types of people that are important in your business and in your life. Even the relationships, you can put that in there. And then actually track when you're talking to people, what the last note is. And so if you can actually have a running list of the relationships that are important to you, having their birthday on there, having little things in that tracking helps you to really connect to them deeper. They don't know that you're doing it, but it also it makes it easy to know what they need next and to follow up with them. That's the whole idea, is following up and staying in relationship.
Mm-hmm. So you have an Excel, I'm curious about this. So can you explain a little bit more? You have an Excel sheet that you list all of the people that you would like to collaborate with or are collaborating with, your team members, your wife, your kids, your mom, whoever, just people that are important to you. And
you are in my golden Rolodex.
Mm-hmm. That's in your what?
My golden Rolodex, I call it.
You call it a golden Rolodex. Okay. And so how do you, like, whenever you say you track, what they're doing or what your last communication with them? I'm just curious about this. So if you can elaborate a little bit more on it.
Yeah, in the spreadsheet, it's got a call to action, just like with the goal sheet spreadsheet or anything else. These are the different projects. These are the date lines and saying, okay, I talked to them about going into my coaching program, and they said that they were interested. They were just finishing up another coaching program and that to follow up next month. So I'll put in the tab, follow up next month after a coaching program. And I'll use the name of whatever they're in. And so then I know, and I have a red flag that says, oh, time to reach out to that person.
Mhm. So how do you manage it as far as time? I mean, I don't know how many people you have in there. And do you have separate tabs, like one for perfect clients, one for collaborative, and one for personal? Or do you combine them all in just one sheet?
So they're all on one sheet. You can also break them out into the different sheets. That would actually be a lot easier. I'm really glad that you just said that, because it's going down. And I have two different sheets. One that's active, and one that is more nurturing, where we haven't already done something together.
Mm-hmm.
All the people that I've ever partnered with or am in relationship with are all on the same sheet, just depending on what we're doing.
Yeah. And so then naturally with Excel, then you can just sort it by date if you're putting the next date that you want to contact them with.
Yep. And so the 15 minutes is focused on the strategy for the week,
Mm-hmm.
not the presentation.
Yeah, right. But you have this, and I love that. So it's basically the sheet, though. I've never heard of this before, so I'm really intrigued by this spreadsheet, because it seems like such a simple way to track people. You know, I've used like Word docs or Post-its or my email or my mind, which, you know, sometimes goes. So
it comes from the launches. So when I was working with clients and doing their launches, I would have all of the launch partners, when they had committed, how many people they were committed to mail to, and all of that. So during the launch, it's very specific about where we are following up, and where, if people have gotten their materials and all of the different pieces. But it's the same spreadsheet, but just in every type of relationship.
Right. And I really love that idea. And so then naturally, it's going to take longer than 15 minutes to create this spreadsheet. But even if you started spending, you know, 15 minutes a day for the next month completing this spreadsheet, then you would have something that you could utilize 15 minutes every Monday to keep you on track for your follow-ups. That's always one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs, is follow-ups. And it's not just follow-ups for the perfect customers, it's follow-ups for their collaborative partners too.
Absolutely. That's why I said it really is the biggest challenge. And you start to forget how many people you have. Just being able to see them all in one place, one, you're like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people that are in my tribe, and that feels really good. And I know that I can go to these people for support. And when I say, oh, wait, who can I serve? When something new comes my way, when a new partner comes my way, I can look at it and say, oh, wait, these two should connect.
Right. I love that. Thank you very, very much for sharing that, Mark.
Keep it to 15 minutes Monday morning, saying, okay, well, how am I going to do my follow-ups for this week?
Mm-hmm.
And again, spend 15 minutes a day building it. Once you have it, you'll be so grateful. And then it's just 15 minutes to maintain a week.
And then too, like you said, you see how many people are in your tribe and in your community, which gives you a boost of self-confidence. But it's really, I would say, you'd be immensely grateful for having such a large community of collaborative partners, of perfect customers to follow up on, of people in your life that love and support you.
Yes. And you can go further by taking it, color coding it. And you can color code your clients, and color code your partners, red, yellow, and blue, and then the ones that are overlap are orange and purple. And you can put them in your calendar, and you can see how much time each week. Visually, you can look at the colors and see how much personal time you're spending reaching out to family and loved ones, and how much you're actually doing sales and marketing calls.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, yeah. I absolutely love this, Mark. I'm like super excited about it. I'm going to go start mine today. And Mark, I know that you have a wonderful gift for our community. So can you share a little bit about it?
Well, sure. Again, my thing is all about building relationships. And one of the best ways that I do that is through our mastermind. We have our Messengers Mastermind each month, and a master class as part of the Inspired Messengers Network, as well as over 40 hours of training on different aspects of being an evolutionary entrepreneur. All of that is included. It's $97 a month. We're giving away a free trial for all of your listeners. You get to come up to a live masterclass, and you get to come to a live mastermind. So you get to network and meet other people in the community. And then if you like it, we would love to have you stay. It's just a beautiful way to, again, find soul community.
Right. And it is an absolutely great mastermind and network. So I encourage your listeners, you want to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Mark, all lowercase letters, MARK, and grab your free month of the Inspired Messengers Network, attend the calls, dig into the 40 hours of free stuff and really gain the value, because I'm sure that you'll want to continue with it once you get your free month, and it will definitely help you build your business. Do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Yes, I want to go back to rule number one, connecting with your inner being.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's really no more important work that we can do to attract the perfect people than to, one, understand that we are divine beings who chose this human experience for a reason, and just really being able to be comfortable with who you are and being more of who you are to attract all of the perfect people in your life.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's show, feel free to share it with your friends. You want to be sure to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Mark. You'll be able to download the show, re-listen to it at your convenience to catch any of words of wisdom that you might have missed from Mark. You can also catch up on other past episodes. Be sure to grab your free gift of the 1-month free membership to the Inspired Messengers Network, to where you can start building your relationship with your own inner alignment and building relationships with others so you can grow your business. And Mark, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you today.
Thank you, Cindy. I'm grateful to be in your tribe.
Thank you. I'm grateful to have you in my tribe. And big hugs, and hope you have a great week. And be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Biz Success in 15. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show, and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.